It's just the real basic understanding of the Young Living income opportunity, because it's a lot of information to digest if you're new and you don't know the terms and definitions of some of the acronyms that we use. And if you're just starting out, you really just kind of want to get a real grasp of what the potential is and what you need to do to get started right away. So if you're interested in learning this, like I said, we're going to be talking from the distributor, the new member, all the way through the executive rank today. This shouldn't take long. This may be about 30 minutes, 45 if we open it up to Q&A at the end, but it should be like eating an elephant one bite at a time. So Crystal, I would love if you jump in and give your experience or advice and guidance, because as a Crown Diamond, I know you've seen probably every scenario in the book around the compensation plan and probably have described it in a million different ways. So we're just going to jump right in if that's okay with you.
Yeah,
does that work?
Good.
Okay, I'm going to just turn my video off so I don't look like I'm staring at myself. That can be distracting. Okay, so when Crystal first enrolled me about 3 years ago, one thing that was really cool was she asked me if I wanted to do the business, and I said absolutely not. There was no way that I was interested in joining a network marketing company at the time, because, to be honest, I'd heard some negative things about it, and I also wasn't sure how it worked. And when I don't understand something, that often scares me. So I, turned her down immediately in that. But when we started talking more about the goals that she was achieving, I was all of a sudden a lot more interested. She not only was getting her, oils and products paid for through the work that she was doing, she was also building a really substantial income. And I also talked to her mom about that. And that in itself just really intrigued me, because I thought the only way to really make a good living was to go to school or to have some sort of business that you worked for somebody else, not necessarily worked for yourself. So I was really intrigued by all that. But I've noticed through talking to people that, some people have really small goals at the beginning, which is great. Like if you want to get your kit paid for, or if you just want to get the money, a little money and some products every month. But then I'm seeing just through this business, like how much you can actually do. People are paying off their debt and their mortgages. They're retiring themselves and their husbands, and they're earning this incredible residual income for life. Now, these people are working really hard to make this happen. Don't let anybody tell you that this is a fly-by-night, like easy thing. I'm sure Crystal can attest to that. But we also have built a real large community of people that are real focused on health and wellness and achieving their goals. So it's just kind of like a big family. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there for those of you who think that this isn't something that you might be interested in. It's definitely something to look into if you've never thought about it before. So I think what immediately got my attention was the income potential. So if you look at Young Living's 2015 income disclosure statement, which I encourage you all to do, and in fact, since we're talking about the income opportunity, I must kind of point you in that direction, because not only does it tell you, like here, you can see the average monthly incomes, it tells you the average amount of hours per week you could expect to be spending on your business if you're working towards these goals. And then you can see the annualized income and then the average time it takes to get from one of those ranks to the next. So I think that's a really great piece of information that everybody should look at, because it's realistic, but it also is true, right? So if somebody told you that you could go from, whatever you're making now, either, in your work from home business or your work in an office business, to be making around $140,000 a month, I think that really can motivate some people. So if you love your oils, Young Living has this love it, share it kind of platform where if you do love the oils and you love the products and you start sharing about them, you can build this business that creates a residual income in the process. And if you don't know anything about residual income, definitely go Google that. That is income that after you've built your business, it's like a passive income. It's always going to happen for you. It may not be exactly to the dollar every month, but this is income that you'll have for the rest of your life. So that's really awesome. So the next thing I think is important to point out, and one of the reasons that I personally was not turned off by Young Living, because I'd been approached by several other people doing network marketing companies before, and one thing that you have to do for a lot of these companies is maintain inventory. You've got to purchase the jewelry or the housewares or the Tupperware, whatever. But with Young Living, you're purchasing something that you're going to consume yourself, and that's really all that you needed to get started. So if you purchased either a basic starter kit, which right now is $45 US, or if you purchase the low end of the premium starter kit at $160 with either that dewdrop diffuser or the home diffuser, then that's all you need right there in that very first month to get started. You don't have to purchase anything else in that first month. If you do that and you were to enroll 4 new members with the premium starter kit, you'd get $50 for each one of those. Well, so that would pay for your kit, and then you'd have $40 in your pocket. So that was an immediate something that I picked up on with Young Living that I was surprised by, because most of the time, like I said, you have to have inventory or you have to have a big upfront investment just to get started on the business side. So after you purchase your kit, and I will explain more about this in just a little while, you'll need to purchase between 50 and 100 PV, and I'll tell you what PV is in a second too, to keep your business maintained. So let's just dive in. And I'm seeing, is there like some questions, Crystal?
Well, said it has to be one of the premium starters, which right now is the oils, the Ninja, and the Thieves kit. So those 3, those are the premium starter kits. So any of those kits are what you would make the fast start bonus off of. But also I wanted to point out, and I know you're going to say this here on this page, but it's pretty cool. If somebody that you share with gets a kit and they share with someone, you earn 10%
yes
off what that person PV is. So
that's
a neat incentive for you to get a group of friends together who are interested in being on this journey. And even if you guys aren't like looking at hitting diamond, even if you just want to get your oils paid for every month, by you all supporting one another and you signing up under each other and all that, you can work it out to where you're earning 10% off of what their friend purchases. And what's neat is that's a 3-month, the fast start is a 3-month thing. But even if your friend who you signed somebody up 10 years from now, you're still going to get 10% off for 3 months off of anybody they enroll. So that fast start it goes away after the first 3 months after that person signs up. But Lori, if you sign up somebody today, I get 10% of that.
I know.
Yeah.
So we'll talk all about the fast start bonuses and the all the different bonuses and how you get paid. And that is one thing we'll talk about is that part too. So yeah, it's great. It's a great point. So let's talk about some terms and definitions. So when I say terms like what PV is, then you'll understand. The first thing is 2 terms, distributor or member. We use those interchangeably. Those terms are pretty much the same. And a member is someone that enrolls with a starter kit, like I said in the previous page, either the basic or the premium, and they will get 24% off of retail prices, and they're eligible to participate in the comp plan. So that is just if you want to. Like, you can still be a member and just enjoy the 24% off. But if you, like I said, want to get paid, you can do that too with no other, additions. So then there's the customer, and a customer is somebody that doesn't purchase a starter kit, but they have to pay retail prices. An enroller. So the enroller is the distributor that signed you up. And so like Crystal is my enroller, and Crystal earned off of me fast start and start living bonuses whenever I purchased my premium starter kit. And I'll get into those bonuses specifically and tell you what those are, I think, in the next slide. Okay, so sponsor. A sponsor, this is where things might get a little confusing, but I'm going to break it down real simply for you. A sponsor is a member's direct upline and main support. So sometimes this is the same person as the enroller, but not always. An enroller can give their new member a different sponsor within 20 days after a new member is enrolled. So for example, Crystal enrolled me, and I swore that I would never do the business. And Crystal already had her 6 legs established, right? So she didn't need me as a 7th at that point. It made sense for Crystal, when she's structuring her organization, for me to have a new sponsor. Crystal will always be my enroller, but she gave me a new sponsor. So she gave me Mike Marlowe, for example, as my sponsor. So that didn't change the support I was receiving from Crystal, but it did offer me another level of support too, as Mike as my sponsor. So I hope that makes sense. So we'll talk more about what legs are in a second, so you can kind of dive into that a little bit deeper and understand. So let's move over to the next column. That's volume. Volume is the commissionable value of the product a distributor purchases in a month. Okay, so every thing that Young Living sells has a PV, which we'll talk about next, but that PV either stands for product volume, and in this situation that's what we're talking about, or it stands for personal volume. So for example, a bottle of lemon has it costs $11.50 in US dollars, but it also has $11.50 PV or volume. Okay, so personal volume is measured in a calendar month. Okay, so it's what I purchase personally. So if I spend, $100 and everything's 100 PV, then that is my personal volume. Now, if I have any customers in my downline, retail customers, anything they purchase also counts for my personal PV. And the personal volume, personal PV is important to recognize, because you either have to have 50 or 100, and I'll tell you which one to earn which bonuses in a minute, but you either have to have 50 or 100 personal volume in order for you to get paid. Okay, so next that's important is organizational group volume. So this is the total amount of all sales volume, so everything that everybody buys that's generated by myself and everyone underneath me or in my legs in a calendar month. And the calendar month always, starts on the 1st and ends on the last day of the month. So that total OGV is calculated by, like I said, everything in my organization for the month. And you start over again at the beginning of every month. I know that sounds scary, but it's okay. So next, and the last thing we're going to kind of give you a definition is of legs. Okay, so a leg is formed by a distributor. So I have, let's just say, for example, my mother. I enrolled my mother, and I wanted my mother to be a leg for me. Well, I went on to enroll 6 or 7 more people. Okay, so I had my 6 or 7 legs, and when I have the 7th or 8th person, I can make a decision to put them underneath my mother, or I can choose to build fewer legs in the beginning and kind of strategically place people under my mother and my other legs sooner than later. So we'll talk about the Rising Star bonus and how Young Living helps set you up to do this the correct way in just a few slides, but it's important to understand what a leg is. So I don't know, did I explain that okay, Crystal? I think I might have, but it's basically, so if my mother's a leg, it's her and everybody underneath her. For her to qualify as a leg, she has to purchase 100 PV, and that way everything underneath her counts for me.
Yes, so. And that leg stays together, if you will.
Yes, correct. Okay. So before we move on, I think it's important to talk about essential rewards real quick, especially for those of you who are new, who maybe have recently enrolled with Young Living. Essential rewards is really important because in order to receive 100% of all the commissions that you could possibly earn, you really do need to be on essential rewards. It's a slam dunk anyway, because you get 10% back in the first 1 to 3 months that you're enrolled. So that's just ridiculous. You'd be throwing away free points for free products if you weren't enrolled. In months 4 through 24, you get 20% back, and then after 25 months, you get 25% back. Now, I use these points for things that I personally consume and my family that we use, but I also use these things to give back to my downline as gifts or incentives too. So it just makes sense to be on ER.
Plus, it's amazing how quick they add up, right?
Oh, yes. I mean, like I looked the other day, I was like, I have 600 ER points and some are about to expire. So I'm going to go, I mean, and honestly, that's how I purchase my Ningxia Red every year. Like I don't ever buy Ningxia Red. I always cash in my ER points for it. So it's time to stock up. But they'll also send you some free gifts, Young Living will, with your 3, 6, and 9 months after you have been on ER for that long. And after a year, they're going to give you a special loyalty essential oil blend that you can't purchase. So I can't wait to see what that's like. So there's other benefits like, each month Young Living has monthly promotions and you'll be eligible for some extra products. Like usually they have, like this year, I mean, they may change this next year, but they have a 15 ml bottle of oil that comes with the promo if you order it through your Essential Rewards order at whatever the PV level is. So they also have reduced shipping fees, and the cool part is you only have to spend 50 PV a month if you want to stay on ER, but to get the compensation benefits, you have to be at 100 PV ER. And then you can change your order anytime throughout the month. So what I do is I kind of use my ER order as my wish list. And the day before it processes, I go in there and make sure that I have everything that we need. And then I process my order. Now, if you decide, you don't want to do Young Living, which I don't know why anybody would decide that, but if they do, you can go in and cancel anytime just by calling the member services number. So let's talk now about 4 ways you can get paid from distributor through executive. Did I hear you say something, Crystal?
Yes, I just wanted to say, make sure, that if you do have someone that cancels, that they know they're going to lose their points. They have to redeem those points first.
That's true.
Also, you start back at the very first month, all the way over again. So if you start back on ER, you got to go all the way back. And guys, let me tell you, 25% is where it's at. So for $50, it's, I would really, really, really be thinking hard. Do I want to lose all this percentage that I'm gaining towards the 25%, or do I want to really try hard? Maybe we're not going to go out to eat this week or whatever. Like there's ways to try to keep that going. So I would really encourage, when you talk to people about Essential Rewards, make sure they know the downsides to canceling. We want them to know that they can, because I think that's really the stigma behind why a lot of people don't want to sign up, is they think they can't get out of it, or that it would be hard to. And with Young Living, it's never been hard to. Out of all these years, I've never had one person reach out to me and say, I can't believe I couldn't get out of Essential Rewards, or, any kind of complaint. Nobody's ever complained to me about that. So we have a very, I think, honest company full of integrity, and anyone that belong on Essential Rewards the wrong way. But we just want to make sure people do know there is that option. And we just, want to make sure they know they have to use their points first, and that they have all the way up.
Yep. Okay, so if we start looking at this slide, I know it looks a little confusing with the 1s and the 3s and the 2s, but this is really a key. So remember earlier I said you would either have to do 50 or 100. We usually have a lot of questions and confusion about that. So, and you've heard me say it twice at least already, but number 3 is to purchase 100 plus PV via Essential Rewards. I think I was going to try to point this out here with my mouse. Let's see. So if you have number 3 right here, it says it also satisfies condition 2. Well, clearly it satisfies condition 1 as well. So if you do 3, you can earn every one of these. So if you just come over here and you're doing rising, if you're trying to earn the Rising Star bonus and you're not on Essential Rewards and have 100 plus PV, and then your top legs don't either, then you're not going to get this bonus. So that's really kind of how to read this. This is a key to understand what you need to earn each of the bonuses that we're just about to talk about. Okay? So let's break these bonuses down for new enrollers. Okay? This is something that you earn in the first 3 months. Okay? So you get a start living bonus. This is where you earn a one-time $25 cash bonus when you enroll a new distributor with a premium starter kit. So basic kits don't qualify. And a premium starter kit is worth 100 PV. Now, like I said, it costs at least $160, but the PV is not one-to-one on this. It's 100 PV. So you would earn also this fast start bonus, okay? This is earning a 25% bonus up to $200 each on your new personally enrolled distributors' orders during the first 3 calendar months. So, and then like Crystal said earlier, when a member enrolls someone else, you earn a 10% bonus, okay, for the first 3 calendar months. So if you read what's down here in this bottom box, earn $50 for each member you can enroll with a PSK. How does that break down? That's that start living bonus of $25 plus a $25 for the fast start bonus, which is 25% of 100 PV. So I know the math challenged folks in the room are probably starting to have their heads spin, but bear with me. I think there's a reason that Young Living made it just 100 PV, because the breakdown is if you sell a premium starter kit to a friend or enroll somebody with it, you will earn $50 for that one. Okay. And the cool part is if they get a premium starter kit and they add on some extra, you'll earn even more than $50. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's look at the next slide. This is the Rising Star bonus. Now, conventional thinking has changed on this a little bit, but the truth is that Young Living has established this bonus to put the cookies on the bottom shelf for us, okay? This is exactly how you should set up your organization in order to think long-term and strategically about being a Royal Crown Diamond, to getting to that $141,000 a month, right? So if you strategically set up your organization this way with 7 legs, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 legs, then you will be able to hit Royal Crown Diamond with a lot of time and effort put in to maintain what you got. So the only people that can earn this bonus are stars, senior stars, and executives. And the cool part is each one of these shares is based on 1% of all Young Living's commissionable sales. Now, I don't know what that number is now. It used to be, I think around $50. Maybe somebody that earned this recently could tell you, but $50 times 6 shares, that's an extra $300 a month. So that's a great bonus to earn just for setting up your organization in a way that sets you up for success. See how each one of these boxes up here, or circles, say 100 PVER? That means each one of these legs has to have the leg leader purchasing 100 PV on their ER, and they have to have 300 OGV that totals up everything below them. Okay, so if you have 3 of these, 3 legs doing that same thing, then you earn 1 share. Over here, if you have 2 legs that are earning at least 500 OGV, you get 2 shares. And then over here, if you have 1,000 OGV and 2 legs, you get the other 3 shares. So those can add up, like I said, if you're doing your best to strategically organize your downlines. Hopefully that makes sense. So, okay, Unilevel commissions. This is how you can earn a commission between 4 and 8% of the PV of the purchases by members on various levels in your organization. So let me explain the level situation. So if you're Crystal and you enroll me and you put me at level 1, and then I enroll my mother, I am Crystal's level 1 and my mother would be Crystal's level 2. If my mother enrolls her friend Janice, and so Janice would be Crystal's level 3. Now, if I enroll Susie and I put Susie underneath my mom, Susie would also be Crystal's level 3 and my level 2. Does that make sense? So you, depending on how you qualify, what rank you qualify for, you will earn based on what level that person is at, what they purchase. So if I purchase 100 PV, and this is after 3 months, okay, because right now we're, before that we were earning the bonuses we just talked about, the Fast Start and the Start Living bonuses. So after that, I'm earning 8% for Crystal on everything that I purchase forever, okay, if I'm her level 1. So if I purchase 100 PV a month, she gets $8, okay? So if my mom purchases 100 PV a month, Crystal gets $5. So hopefully that's clear. Now, if Crystal is an executive, she gets all these commissions down to level 5 of people that might be enrolled in her organization underneath me, okay? And all her other legs too, but I'm just using this as an example to keep it simple. So what happens though when a new member on your team is in month 1 through 3? I just mentioned this. They're earning that Fast Start bonus. So do they also earn the Unilevel commissions? Well, kind of, okay? So Young Living doesn't give you 0 on the Unilevel commissions. They do something called compression. And it's really kind of hard to understand compression until you see your paycheck, and then you will totally get it when you look at the explanation. So let's say that it's in the first 3 months. Let's say it's just month 2, okay? And I have purchased on my second month 100 PV. So Crystal's still earning 25% on that. She'll get $25 off of that second month where I ordered 100 PV. But she'll also get 30% of my PV paid out in a Unilevel commission. So instead of 100 PV being paid out at 8%, she would get 30% of that, so 30 PV paid out at 8%. Does that make sense? I know I've probably lost a few people, but if that doesn't make sense, when you watch the replay, I think if I explain that again, then you'll get it. But again, if you see this in your paycheck, I think the first time you do, let me see, I'm trying to confuse y'all by turning things sideways. If you, when you look at your paycheck, I really think you'll see the breakdown, and it'll be a little clearer then. So let's talk about what it takes to move up ranks from distributor to executive. So there's 3 concepts here. PV, your personal purchases, and these were the things I was talking about, those 1, 2s, and 3s, and those blue and green circles earlier. And then OGV, which is the overall volume in your organization. And then there's this concept of legs times OGV. So let's explain that. So for you to become a distributor or to stay a distributor, you just have to purchase 50 or 100. And earlier, you see, I saw if you're a distributor, you can earn up to 2 levels, 8 or 5%. Now, to be star, you have to have 500 OGV. So when you hit the star rank, that means you have your personal PV of 100, you've purchased 100, and there's at least 500 in your entire organization. So let's say you have your own order that you purchased, and then you've sold 5 premium starter kits. So you'll become a star right then. Easy peasy. So senior star, you need up to 2,000 OGV. This is a little harder. It takes a few more people purchasing a few more things to reach the senior star level. But you, again, have to purchase 100 PV and have 2,000 OGV in your entire organization. Doesn't matter how it's organized. In fact, you could purchase, same with Star, you could purchase 500 yourself or 2,000 yourself. I don't know a whole lot of people that do that, but if you did, that would be great, and you would become a Star or a Senior Star. For executive, this is where things get a little bit different, and this theme continues in the advanced ranks from Senior to Royal Crown Diamond. But if you purchase 100 and then you have 4,000 overall volume in your group, but that you have to at least have 2 legs that are at 1,000 OGV each. So hopefully that makes sense. So once you, so how do you even get started going from distributor to executive? Really, you work toward building your team at this point by enrolling new members and forming relationships with existing members. You educate your team, so we don't just, sell a kit and never hear from, you again. We want you to work on educating your team on the products and the benefits of Essential Rewards. Because if you're on ER, you're going to get like lots of free products, and you're going to love it even more because you're getting to experience more things. And, the financial, I guess, obligation to do that is a little less because you're getting more for your money on ER. So the cool thing is, if you decide to start building your business, Young Living has rolled out a new incentive and reward program called Elite Express. Elite Express gives you tons of free products and gear for achieving different ranks within a set number of months. The first goal is to reach executive 3 calendar months from the first time you qualify as a star. So if you do this, you get all kinds of cool stuff. I just looked this up actually. You get a seed to seal collection, an Aria diffuser, 5 ml peppermint, Idaho blue spruce, ylang ylang, and a Young Living branded pad folio. So that is like the first gift, and I think a lot of people can reach executive and star within 3 months if they, decide that they really want it and want to go after that. So, what's next? So, I understand that even though this is a small piece of the compensation plan, it's still a lot of information, and the terms and definitions still, you might have to hear it once or twice till you get it. I do have these brochures that I mentioned earlier that have all of this information in it. So I like to give these out, and if anybody has some questions, I can mail one of these to you too. I've got a few extra. So the first 15 people that want one of these, I'll send them to you in the mail. But this is great to keep handy. So if you are looking, at something, you're like, oh man, I can't remember what OGV means. You could look real quickly and tell you, or I can't remember what percentage I earn at what rank. This is just a quick little guide to get that. So the only other thing you really need to make sure that you're doing early on is when you're sharing your love for Young Living and enrolling new members, that you're really using the layout of the Rising Star bonus. And to do that, you need to understand strategic placement. And this is where I said you have 20 days after you enroll someone to strategically place them in those 6 or 7 legs in your organization. In order to do that, you can, within 5 days, you can do it on live chat. After 5 days, so between days 6 and 20, you have to send an email. Your sponsor or your enroller can help you with the wording on and how to do that. It's not hard, but it does take some time. And there are some people that are really skilled at strategic placement, and there are some people that aren't. But if you ask your sponsor and your enroller, I'm sure they can give you some pretty good advice when you get started. Once you get your grip on all this stuff, we would love to take this discussion to the next level at some point, to give you an idea of what it takes to reach silver and beyond. You can also, if you don't want to wait on me or Crystal or your upline to describe that to you, there's tons of information on the compensation plan in the virtual office that you can also refer to. So, Crystal, do you have, look, it's 1:32. I told you I could do this in 30 minutes. So I'd love to open it up to Q&A or hear if you have anything you want to add, Crystal, at this junction.
All I was going to say is when it comes to strategic placement, I recommend you pray, and you definitely you have that 20 days. So I think a lot of times people either do one or two things. They slam somebody somewhere just really fast because they're afraid they're going to forget, or they kind of get stuck because they're afraid of where to place people. So set a little alarm on your phone.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
The day before it's due, you have that figured out. And if you have someone who maybe they don't have any ties to anyone in your downline, and you can't figure out exactly where to place them, that would be someone where you would either place them, if they live in a city where you have a team leader who is active, you may place them there. Or if it's you need volume in a certain leg, you may place them there. So it's just, there's lots of things about strategic placement, and your upline or myself would be more than happy to help you with that. But don't kick yourself later on down the road, because hindsight is 50-50, and everybody, no matter who you are, everyone has those aha moments down the road where you go, oh man, I really wish I'd done it this way. Or if I'd done it this way, then this. Well, those things are not real, so we might as well not even talk about that, right? Let's just focus on what we can do, and that is whatever we do right here, right now, and from here on out. But thank you so much, Lori. This was awesome. I love how simple. I love your graphics. I think this is a wonderful way that people can duplicate this exact class for their teams. And I love that you're going to make this available, right? The slides are going to be available.
Yep, they're already out on oilrevolutiondesigns.com. You can, if you have a $5 a month subscription, you could, even if you didn't want to stick around, I'd love for you to stick around, but you could just enroll and grab these for $5. So, and they'll have your member name and information at the bottom, so you can save those. And, Jen Henshaw had a question in the Q&A, which is a great question. She said, why do we need a seventh leg? Is it the 1,000 PGV? That's exactly what it is. You want that for two reasons. One, you got to and don't be confused, folks that don't know what PGV is. That's a volume that's outside of the legs that we talk about once you get to silver. So that would be explained in our next class. But it's a qualification that you need to have for silver and above. And when you're at Royal Crown Diamond, you would need so 6 legs fulfilling all those requirements, plus a 7th leg that gives you the 1,000 PGV. If you need it, it's not necessary. You could personally purchase $1,000 a month, and if you're making $141,000 a month, you could do that. So it's not necessary, but if it is necessary to have 7 legs doing those in the Rising Star bonus. So that's why they set you up that way. So if we make star or senior star, how many months in a row so they don't take your status? Do you understand that question, Crystal?
I'm scrolling to see what you're talking. I don't see that.
Let's see.
I don't see that question.
Okay, let me go back to Maria. Would you mind rephrasing that question so maybe we can understand a little better? There's someone else, I'm not sure what your name is, but LJS4M asked, how do we figure out who will be the lead person in a leg? I remember thinking, how would I know if I was going to place a $100 ER until I figured out if I was going to like to do the oils? That's a great question. Sometimes you don't know. I personally liked to put leg leaders as people that I was in close relationship already. My mom, for example, I have 2 or 3 really good friends who are leg leaders, friends that I could, bring along with me in this journey. You're not always going to have them immediately, and sometimes it's your leg leader, the person that's at the top of that leg may not be your leg leader. It may be a person below them that's ordering 100 PV on ER, and if they qualify, whatever's underneath them qualifies you for that Rising Star bonus. Does that make sense? So you may have some duds here and there that sit between you and your leg leaders. That's okay. That's going to happen occasionally, especially as time goes on if you didn't strategically place people right, and that happens to all of us. So don't stress out about that too much. I hope I answered that question. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds good. I mean, definitely your 6 or 7 legs that you have that you're building under strategically, I would suggest that they need to have skin in the game. They definitely need to tell you, yes, I'm going to do 100 PVER forever. And they definitely need to be wanting to work this as a business, because if you don't do it that way, then you may have issues, especially on down the road.
Okay, so I think Maria rephrased her question to where I understand it now. So I made star last month and I don't get the 500 OGV this month. Would you go back to distributor? Yes. Unfortunately, that happens. So let's say, if I made gold this month, but I didn't meet the requirements the following month, then I would go back to whatever rank I qualify for in the following month. So if I just totally gave up on everything, I could go back to, distributor myself. So, you want to make sure that you continue to build your team so you don't slip back. It's a process. It happens. It's not, if you don't put any effort in, you're not going to see the rewards, unfortunately. So I hope that answered your question, Maria. But yeah, you reset on all of the requirements each month. So each month, Crystal has to work to get back to Crown Diamond and then try to reach even beyond that to Royal Crown Diamond. But if she hit Royal Crown Diamond next month, she'd have to meet those same requirements again. Now, she would be labeled Royal Crown Diamond, right? And you get the party and the pomp and circumstance, but you only earn what rank you are based on your monthly sales volumes and stuff. So I hope that answered that.
And it's good to note that as you go up in the company, there's the requirements that are there for each leg, and then there's OGV requirements. And so sometimes it's people, they're needing the OGV, the overall. They've got the legs at where they need to be, but the overall group volume isn't where it needs to be. And then on the flip side of that, there's some people who maybe for whatever reason they don't have that 5th and 6th leg built out enough, and the volume there isn't what it needs to be for the rank, and that's what they're working on. So it could be either way, but at any rate, that's what we do. We work hard, and when you love this and you love what you're doing, 3 or 4 years later, you're still doing it for that reason. And if you ever have a time where you feel like, oh wow, like my why has changed, well, that's okay too. My why now, my purpose now, for wanting to hit Royal Crown is different than what it was 2.5 years ago. And I think that your why and your purpose are going to change and grow, if you will. Your vision's going to grow, and that's good.
Yeah, that's a good point. So Carol is asking, how do I lovingly encourage members to be business builders or get current members who are interested started? So do you want me to answer how I'd answer it first? So for me, I think that you need to get them to understand their why, or appeal to whatever it might be on that list of things that could encourage them to want to do the business. Like for me, to be honest, I mean, I loved the products. I knew I was going to be using them anyway after Crystal introduced me to them. But when I found out that I could share what I love and make that potential income, that was a big why, because I was spending a lot of time away from my family in a corporate job, and that was really tough on us. But now my husband and I are both, retired, but working, all the time, but we're working at home and we're making our own hours and our decisions. So that was what appealed to me, but what appeals to me may not appeal to another person. So you really got to understand their motivation for maybe wanting to do this. And then if you've got current members who are interested in starting, I think too, explain the compensation plan to them, invite them to a meeting like this, send them a little brochure, show them the potential that's there and how it can be worked. This is a very, if you look at network marketing, like I said, there can be negative connotations, but Young Living is one of the best I have ever seen. And if you look at network marketing rankings, just for all the reasons I told you before, Young Living is extremely generous in their compensation plan. Like I said, there is no super big investment to get started. You're not buying oils and shipping them out yourself and holding inventory. They're going onto the website and purchasing them. You're not even in the middle anymore. After your job then becomes to educate and get them to continue purchasing and falling in love with the oils and showing them how they can share it with others. That's pretty much the role that you would play. So if you encourage people with that and make sure they understand they're not going to be, shipping out little bottles of oil all month every day, then I think that's a good place to start.
And the other thing I wanted to say is that some people, they actually get excited about Young Living being a purpose-driven company. And so
Absolutely.
Even if they aren't jabbed up about selling bottles of oil, maybe for them it's more about the purpose behind Young Living. What does our foundation do all over the world? How are we affecting the lives? Like starting in Ecuador with the academy and having our first graduating class last year. There's so much we can talk about with people that's outside of just talking about oils, outside of talking about oil-infused products, even outside of talking about the comp plan. I love to talk with people about purpose. I love to talk about how our company is setting a standard. Unlike hardly any MLM companies out there, when you go out there and you look at different companies, people are looking for something to tap into where they can feel like they're making a difference and they feel like they're a part of being a world changer. Young Living offers that to their members just by you rounding up every month with your order, just by you giving. When we have our conventions, we bring in over $1 million at each convention by just generous members who are coming together and raising this money in like 4 or 5 days. And that money then goes out all over the world to help causes that are every single, we've got 7 or 8 causes that Young Living has joined together with.
Yeah.
And I just get excited about it. I love talking about Hope for Justice, of course, but I'm excited about all the causes that Young Living Foundation supports. And I just think what a unique opportunity we have to share with people that they can actually make a difference just by being a part of Young Living.
Yep, I love that.